Being a mom is hard. Understatement of the century. Being a mom to two under two is a whole other level of hard. Doing that while successfully running an online business takes next level organization and discipline. And that's exactly what our guest this week does. Taylor Lane runs Spiritual Business School. It's an online business coaching program that helps online entrepreneurs maximize their potential and their sales. She also runs Moms Coworking After Bedtime, a Zoom co-working space just for moms. Hey, Taylor, welcome to the Rebellion.
Thank you so much, Robin. I'm so excited to be here. And thank you for recognizing my two under two difficult lifestyle. That was so sweet. I feel so valid and seen right now.
It is like, from everyone I know who's done it, it is like the most challenging thing they've ever done in their entire life. And this is from like moms who went to med school and did other really hard things. So like, it's the hardest thing I've ever done. I have a 3-year-old and I can't imagine having a baby right now. So, okay, first of all, how do you do it?
It's so funny because now that I have two under two, I kind of can't imagine having my 1-year-old by herself right now. Like, in some ways, I think it might be harder because she loves the baby. So it's like entertaining for her. It's an activity in and of itself just to have a baby sister. So, and the flow in our home is just like so much less centered around her only. It's like a decentralized family. We really feel like a family now, and it takes the pressure off of her and like everything being her, like my firstborn. And so now I can't even like imagine only having one. I'm like, would it be harder? Who knows? Um,
Somebody said that to me. Somebody who was like, I think she had like 4 kids or something on this podcast. She said, like, in some ways, I think it's harder to only have one kid because you're their sole source of entertainment. So you're always on. They can't just be like, go play with your sister. Like, you can never do that.
Yes, it's so true. And I think that that's why, I mean, I hope to have more children, but I don't know that yet, but that's why they all the people with like two or more kids say like, oh, it actually gets easier each kid that you have because they all entertain each other. So yeah, and I think the hardest part for me, like when you were saying those words, it clicked for me like what the hardest part actually is for me, and it's asking for help. Mm, you know, it's just like you are put in a position where you no longer can be that level of selfish where you're not asking for help. And now I have a nanny that comes to our home. We have a housekeeper that helps us with cooking. Like literally the meals were not getting made. The dishes in the sink, like everybody thinks that when they see, like I'm literally seeing this on threads, when somebody makes a post and says that the cleaning can't be done in their home, they're not keeping up with the laundry and stuff, and they're like, oh, let it go to waste. Where's the silverware when you need to eat a meal? Where's the plate? Where's the clothes when you need to put clothes on your body and clothes on your child? People aren't thinking of it in literally functionality. That you need those things to live. You need those things to live your life on a daily basis. And so, like, I had to ask for help. And my husband was like the biggest champion in this and like literally forcing me to hire help. And it made me so uncomfortable because I want to be super mom. I want to do everything. I want to be enough. You know, that storyline in my mind, like I want to be enough. I don't want to need to ask for help. But let me tell you, now that I have it, I'm like, woo, this is this is it.
It's funny because I think what they expect us to do is to just do it when the kids are sleeping. Like, don't take that time away from your children. Take that time away from yourself. And then you're burnt out and exhausted and you have no other time. So I'm exactly like you. Like my daughter is in daycare part-time. And then I pick her up every day at 3. So we have our afternoons together. I make sure I always clock out at 3. And then I usually work after she goes to bed. That's the way I structure my day to be able to get everything done. And I think for a lot of people, it's hard to understand that. I'm like, it's just a split shift. I work from 9 to 3 and then I work again from like 8 to 10. Like that's just how life is. But I also have a housekeeper who comes once a week and we do a lot of like meal prep services where like you still have to cook, but they give you all the ingredients already measured out with the recipe. So you don't have to come up with what the heck you need to cook. I think moms need that. Like if we're expected to work and run a household and be moms who are present and not traumatizing our children for life, we need help. There is no village. I don't know about you, but like my mom doesn't live nearby and my dad does live nearby, but he still works like because people don't retire at 55 anymore, right? So
Yeah.
Your
I live in
village.
Guatemala. I moved away from home. I live in a whole other country that needs plane tickets and a 6 hour flight and a 2 hour car ride. Like, I live far. And so, like, my village, I had to create it. And now I have it. And the people that are in my home, like, feel like family, and they help my family be its best. And we get our booties kicked on the weekends. Okay. Like, my husband, every single Monday, we're like, thank God, because the help is coming back. Like, we need that help, and it's okay if you have to pay for it. It doesn't have to be that you have your mother-in-law on speed dial. Some people don't have that, like, you don't have your mother living nearby, or your father or your sister, or you're an only child and you don't have a big family. Like, it's okay if you want to spend your monies that you are making, the bucks that you are making, on making your motherhood more enjoyable, more accessible, less of a struggle. Nobody gets a prize. I don't know why I had it in my mind. I could not, like, dismantle this limiting belief that I had, that, like, if I don't struggle, I'm not getting the motherhood experience. Like, other moms are going to be like, oh, well, she doesn't really have a hard time, so she's not like us. Excuse me? Who? This is messed up. Like, so the hardest part for me with two under two truly has been allowing myself to not have to be on the struggle bus, and to actually utilize help. And I'm super organized, and I'm like a really good delegator, and I have systems in place in my home. That's like the fun part for me, right? So it was like truly stepping up in that way, instead of just trying to do it all and be it all, and like telling myself that I have to be enough.
Yeah, it's like this expectation of martyrdom when you become a mother, right? That you have to, whatever is important to you can no longer be important to you. Like, even just like finding time for a shower, or, stuff like that can be difficult, but only if you let it, right? Like, if you ask for help, outsource help, have a partner who contributes equally to household management and tasks, there are ways to go about it. And I don't know about you, but I always prioritize an hour for myself every single night before bed, where I make sure I clock out, and I'll take a shower, or I'll read a book, or I'll scroll TikTok, whatever, but I'll do something that I enjoy for myself. And originally I had to put a lot of pressure around, like, okay, but no screen time. And then I would find myself sometimes being like, okay, but I kind of just want to scroll TikTok. And I was like, what is the point of me putting that limit on I'm the boss. I'm in charge. I get to decide. So I'm curious how you carve out space for yourself with a busy life. You're an entrepreneur. You've got kids. You've got a partner. It's a lot.
Yeah, really great question. A timely question, because I actually just started a postpartum 75 challenge, because I was not doing what you are saying, which is take the time for yourself, carve it out, make it a routine that you look forward to, right? And so 75 hard, I don't know if you've heard of it, but I'm sure a lot of your listeners have. It was not made for us, okay? It was not made for moms in mind. And so I was like, okay, for my postpartum people, for me, aka 4 weeks ago, I literally was like, I need a change in the way that I'm not putting time into myself, and I'm not even like looking forward to that kind. Like, I'm having to force myself to even take a shower or brush my hair, and it's not every day. And that's a problem, because that becomes your life, that becomes who you are. And everybody has a different season, like, time wise, where they are in a newborn bubble, and then that bubble pops, and then you start to feel sick of yourself. Like, straight up where I was. Like, I'm sick of my habits. I'm sick of my excuses. I'm sick of and it's because I'm not loving myself. I'm straight up not loving myself. I'm leaving myself last. And so I was like, okay, what are the things I could do? So there's 5 daily things that I'm doing, and I invited everybody on Threads, and we're all doing it together. So if you want to find me on Threads and find the 5 daily rules and everything, that you can do it along with us. It's not 75 hard, okay? It's not meant to be hard. It's just little things you can do throughout your day that are going to put the time and the effort back into you, which makes you a better mother, which makes you able to, like, it's so cliche, but like, you can't pour out of an empty cup, right? So, like, pouring into yourself. So getting ready for the day is one of the things, and that is such a struggle. And it shouldn't be, but oh my God, it's a struggle. So no PJs allowed for 75 days. Uh, the horror, the gasp. So it's putting effort into my face, my hair, and my outfit, and I get to decide how much that is. So it's usually washing my face, it's usually brushing my hair. And again, this doesn't sound hard, but when you have two under two, you be thinking differently. And then putting some kind of effort into my outfit, which is just choosing an outfit that is not PJs. It that shifts everything. Get outside is the second thing, the second must do every single day. And literally you can decide what that is. It could be to and from your car. Just leave the four walls of your home and things really start to shift. Or it could be, get in the sun, get out in your garden, take a walk, whatever you want to do. An exercise that you do every single day for 75 days. Mine is 5K steps because that's just a personal goal that I have, is to just be more active. And working from home, as you know, you are so sedentary. Like no matter how much you chase your toddler, it just does not add up to steps. So 5K steps are my thing that I picked for the 75 days. And then it's sell every day in your business. This is a big one. Like my best self does not have a problem selling my offers and putting calls to action and getting people into my free lead magnets and everything like that, because I'm super passionate about helping people get to where they want to go and have the life that they want to have as a mother and in business. So like when I'm tuned into myself and I'm tapped into myself, I have so much to give, and selling every day on any kind of platform in any way, shape, or form is not hard. And the fifth thing, what's my fifth thing? Oh, an inner world check-in. That is one of the things that has truly gone to the wayside. Like I end up having my whole day without checking in with myself and how I'm truly feeling. And people will ask you postpartum, right? Like I'm 4 months postpartum right now, and people will ask you like, how are you feeling? And you're like, good question. Let me think about it. Let me think about it, because it's so hard to get the silence, to get 5 minutes. And when you get it, you're not thinking, okay, let me do a meditation or let me journal or let me just ask myself how I'm feeling. So I simply will like tune in, take deep breaths. Like it is so simple. Or I will pray. I will just pray. Yesterday was definitely a prayer day for me because the 4 month sleep regression is kicking my free. But those are the 5 things. And so I'm doing that for 75 days. And if you miss a day, it's not a fail day. You don't have to start over. You just add a day to the end. So maybe you end up doing postpartum 76, 77, 78. It's okay. There's no shame. There's no failing. So that is what I'm doing for myself. And it's day 3 when we're recording this. And it already is just like, it's game changing. Like I am a different woman.
It's the no pajamas getting ready every day for me. Like if I have client meetings, if I have recordings, girl, I'm brushing my hair and I'm going to put on a little lipstick. Like that's going to happen. But if it's a day where I have no meetings and I've blocked off just like editing and stuff, do you know how hard it is to convince myself to get dressed?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. If you do not see it as an act of self-love and you only see it as a function for other people, you will not do it. That is what happens to me. And then I look in the mirror, what do I see? Did I put any effort in? No. And that's the thing. It's not about how you look to other people. It's about like, and I'm like number one, guilty as charged. Like I am Miss Frumpy. And I hate that. Like, and I'm allowed to hate that. I'm allowed to be sick of that and be like, Taylor, I don't want to be seeing myself in the mirror frumpy anymore. When I pass by the mirror, I want to know I've put effort in. It doesn't have to be an extreme amount of effort, but I put effort into myself. Why? I care about myself. I love myself. I've been intentional with how I look inside my home. And that's important to me. And so that's why I decided the no PJs rule. It hurt my heart to write it and put it online and claim it. But it is changing so much. It truly is.
But you also, by putting it online, putting it on Threads, which I friggin' love Threads, by the way. Like I am obsessed with this platform. I know they're gonna ruin it eventually and like add advertising because it's owned by Meta. Like we all know they're gonna ruin it. But for now, it's like I only have like 600 followers, and I put something out about Taylor Swift that has like 500,000 impressions and counting. Like what? Like it's absolutely wild. Those Swifties are crazy. But neither here nor there. But the other thing that you had mentioned was checking in with yourself regularly. And it's interesting because I find in particular people of faith, so religious individuals, this is something that they do very often, whether it's reading their Bible or whatever, or people like me who are in recovery. I read my big book. I'm an Alcoholics Anonymous, so it's literally part of my program to do this, to maintain my sobriety on a daily basis and to check in on that kind of stuff. And it's almost like we need a program like that that's not centered around religion or centered around, alcoholism. There almost just needs to be like a check in with yourself program that people can join and access that kind of information and that kind of support. And I mean, you've kind of created a space kind of like that for working moms, with your Moms Coworking After Bedtime, Zoom calls. I'm very curious. I haven't joined one yet. I've seen them and I'm like, I'm like intrigued. But I'm curious what it looks like. Like, are people just sitting there in silence working on with a Zoom call open? Are they chatting? Like, what does that meeting look like?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're spending your nights for your personal time. And like a lot of moms do this. Like they either work at night or it's their personal time or it's their date night time, right? They're like on the couch with hubby and it's like you're connecting for the first time in the whole day. And so we are up after dark, okay? Like a lot of us are up until 10 p.m., 11 p.m., midnight, and then you're still getting that rest that you need. If you can, if your children will allow you to. And so it is like a way of making sure you're intentional in that time. And so we hop on Zoom, cameras off and mics are off, which I find really important for moms to be able to show up. To just to be able to show up because it can be on your phone while you are feeding your baby to sleep. Like you can already be like chatting with moms in the chat. We're hyping each other up. We're saying what's on your to-do list? What's one thing you can get done tonight? It doesn't have to be a lot. Spend 20 minutes, get it done. That's the energy of the room. And let me tell you how much I have gotten done since I created the space because I created it for me, literally, to have a motivation to actually get on there instead of just falling asleep with my baby and then waking up the next morning and being like, oh my God, now when am I going to get that done? Like, I know I'm in a better flow when I just take like literally a half hour to knock something out at night and then I knock out. I just get the hay. It's so hard. And I love connecting with the other moms. It's so cool. Like so many different waves of moms come on, like EST moms and then Central Time moms and Mountain and the Pacific. And they come on in waves and they're all like, I'm like, hey, how did bedtime go tonight? And it's like, rough, girl. Or, hey, went better than expected. I'm logging in. Now I'm going to get my power hour in. Like, so many people have their different like ways of working. And the thing is, we were all up anyway. We were all doing this in isolation. Now we're doing it together. But yeah, cameras off and mics off and just chatting in the chat, just hyping it up.
I love that. I love that. It reminds me of did you ever use Clubhouse? Which I know technically still
Yes.
exists, but in the OG days, yeah, I mean the tech bros and the crypto bros, like they kind of ruined it. But in the original days, so first of all, it came out during like the height of COVID, right? So we were sort of craving that community. And like I was attending like Alcoholics Anonymous meetings on Zoom regularly, several times a week. So I had that space for checking in and learning and growth. And I started using Clubhouse because there were like sobriety rooms. And I love it because you could choose to contribute or you could just hang out in the background and listen to what people were saying. So like it was so awesome because sometimes there'd be guest speakers, sometimes there'd be these stories. So that's what I used to do at the time was like before bed, I would listen to Clubhouse for an hour. And if I felt called to, I would join in the conversation. And it was just such a cool space. But then, like I said, it eventually was ruined. But that sounds kind of like the space that you've created, except it's silent, which is perfect for moms who are nursing or rocking a child or laying on the floor with a hand in the crib because you can't leave your child alone. Like that sounds perfect.
Yes, yes. And sometimes it's just literally like going through your to-dos. It's sometimes it's like getting the motivation to do something. Literally, with the moment people hop on, I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" And they're usually like, "I'm so tired. I do not want to do anything." And then they're like, "You know what? I'll just do one thing," because somebody else is being like, "Okay, got my taxes done. Okay, got my client review done. Okay, got that edited done, got it posted. Good night." And then it's like, "Oh yeah, I can do this. I can really do this." And again, it's almost about enjoying your days more when you have that time at night. It's like a catch-all. I use it as a catch-all. Like if I don't get something done, I'm like, I could do it tonight. I could do it in literally 20 minutes tonight when the whole house is quiet. I might be sideline breastfeeding and I might have to do it on my phone, but I'm gonna do it. Right? It doesn't have to be the perfect like power hour in my office where like nobody's bothering me, but I'm gonna get it done. And that's why I always joke like when you work as a mom, it's not part-time hours, it's mom time hours. Like the things we do are crazy. We'll be like on a stroller walk serving a client. We'll be like in the daycare drop off line, and we'll be like getting something done. Like we're just badasses. We're so good at doing that stuff. And so this also is just like a reminder for everyone else. You're not the only one. Like we are all in this together, and you can do this. Can you do this another night? Yes, you can. You will, and you will get through it. And then tomorrow the sun will rise again and you'll get another chance. And maybe a more calm and peaceful day, the way that you wanted things to go. But we're here for you at night if it doesn't.
I love that you framed the multitasking as a strength as opposed to a weakness, because I very vividly remember my daughter had torticollis and she had to do like physio and osteo appointments. It was a lot. And I was working and I was like trying to answer Slack messages while I was in the waiting room to go in for my daughter's appointment. And like somebody hadn't shown up to a recording, and I was like trying to call and my daughter was crying. And like it was in that moment, I felt like I was a failure at both things, that I'm a terrible employee and I'm a terrible mom. But looking back on it now, 2 years later, one, I was doing the best I could within my given circumstances. And two, I was not a bad mom. I was taking my daughter for, physical therapy, and I was showing up for my client and making sure that things needed to get done got done. Why do you think it is that in those moments we view those multitasking moments as failures, when in reality, it's kind of what makes us bosses, is that we're able to do all the things?
Yeah, I think it's our expectations. I think it's our expectations. I talk about this a lot with the feeling of defeat in motherhood. And the feeling of defeat makes you look at your days and your moments as failures instead of ama- amazing, moments of strength. And sometimes it's just an average experience. And sometimes you should have just expected it, honestly. So what I do is I always tell people, like, you have a plan B as a mom. You're like, if she starts crying, if all hell breaks loose, this is what I'll do. And then when you have to use plan B, you feel defeated. When you have your plan B, because you know it's 99% chance gonna happen, that it's not gonna go perfect. And you're gonna have to use your plan B, but then why feel bad about it? Why are you then being like defeated, like, oh, I'm not a good mom, or I'm not a good business owner. If I could just. My favorite spiritual teacher is Byron Katie. She changed my life, and she is all about embracing and accepting the now and what is. So one of her books is called Loving What Is. If you cannot love what is, you are going to feel defeated. Even when you're pulling your tools out and you're like, okay, plan B, plan C, plan D, don't feel bad about it. That's a victory. That is a victory. And if you do not believe that, you're going to feel defeated several times in a day when you could feel that you have won several times in a day.
Yeah, I feel like maybe the part of it also is that, like, when you're kind of splitting your attention, you feel like you're not fully present in both things because you're like, half present for both of them. But I kind of laugh whenever anybody says like it's impossible to multitask. You can't do more than one thing at a time. And I'm like, look at a mom. Like I remember so clearly in that moment that I referenced in the waiting room at the hospital, like putting a bottle in my daughter's mouth while I'm on the phone. Like I was multitasking in that moment. Like that is an example of multitasking. And I always say that there's a lot of those transferable skills as a mom into business. So you've got this thing called Spiritual Business School, where you basically help entrepreneurs maximize their potential. Do you work with a lot of women and moms? Because I feel like it's becoming more common that women are like, cool, you don't offer work-life balance, I'm just going to create my own business.
Yes, 100%. So I mostly work with moms that had the business, then had the baby, and now have a whole different business life going on. So it's a lot of like, whoa, my whole life changed. And I work less with the women who are just starting a business while they're already a mom, but definitely love them all. Love them all. I can help you all. But the biggest thing for me is like helping moms make sales easier, make everything less formal, everything more casual, everything more speedy and less like sluggish and 10,000 steps and overcomplicated, because we can't do it anymore. We cannot do the 12-step funnel anymore. You don't need it. What you need is easy breezy conversation led, a conversation based business where you are Like sales come so easily to you because you're not delaying, you're not halting, you're not making yourself have to do this formal thing, and you're not overcomplicating things. So simplicity is my jam. I can look at anybody's business and be like, girl, whoa, why so complicated? Let's just simplify it. And that also comes back to having the mindset of like, I love my life as it is right now. I love my business as it is right now, and not trying to be like, I wish I had the time that I had before. Stop thinking that. I can't do everything that I did before. Stop focusing on what you can't do and start focusing on what you can do. So my favorite, you didn't ask me this, but I'm just gonna say it. The favorite thing that I do in my mindset and that I help clients with is continue the thought or just say and it's if your mind is telling you, I don't have time to do this launch, I can't launch, whatever you're telling yourself that starts as a negative thought, I'm less interested in telling you don't have negative thoughts. Tell them to go away. I'm more interested in what could come after. So if you say and, then you just fill in the opposite. I can't do this and I can do XYZ thing. I wish I had all the time in the world like I used to have, and I need to get my booty in gear with what I can do right now and the time that I have right now. I'm more interested in how your mind fills in the blank after the negative thought comes in, and just let the negative thought be there because it could trigger an amazing next step for you, and you don't have to feel shame about it. We all have those gremlin thoughts that come up in our mind, and I'm more interested in what you can turn that into.
Mm. And it's interesting because, leading intuitively is somehow counterintuitive for a lot of people because we've been told, I think the definition of what's professional is very masculine energy coded. You have to act like a 50-year-old white man to be considered professional when that's not reality. And I think it's kind of cool to see women and moms redefining what professional looks like because I used to be so scared to take client meetings if my daughter was home daycare from sick. Like I would be like, oh my God, I gotta like cancel or reschedule. No, for the most part, they're cool with like my daughter sitting on my lap while I do the meeting. Go like, oh hi, like it's no big deal. And I feel like it would be considered unprofessional technically to do that. But I wonder if like maybe even COVID's partly to blame for this. We became more willing and accepting of slightly different environments for work, right?
Yes. Yes. It's important to have your own work culture. It's important to say things to people that kind of primes them for how you work and the things that you do in your business and what you're comfortable with and what your expectations are. If you suggest to people, like the power of suggestion is real. So if you suggest to people, this is what could happen on our call. This is what could happen in any given week. I'm a boss at multitasking, so it won't be a problem. Frame it as a strength, and you started your business for a reason. You're not working for anybody else. So all of your opportunities, all of your sales opportunities or opportunities to quote unquote impress people, be yourself, be who you are, be a mother. And it literally, if you don't have like an intentional way that you go about creating a culture around your business, you're missing out on things running smoother. You definitely are delaying, you're halting, you are taking yourself off of, you're taking yourself out of opportunities because you think you can't. And you need to be leaving those things on the table and you need to be running with them. And you're also missing out on sales. This is the biggest thing is that like people allow all of the what ifs and all of the buts to get in the way of them making sales instead of being like, I can make sales in any room. I can make sales in any week. I can make sales in any circumstance because talent is what shines through when you're not worried about being professional, when you're not worried about the launch looking like mega launch that a big corporation would do. No, be yourself. Let your skills shine through and serve people. Like stop thinking so much about yourself. And that is actually how you will make more sales in your business. Like you have to allow it to come out. You have to allow yourself to shine. And shine doesn't mean you have the perfect lighting, the perfect like audio environment or anything like that. Shining means forgetting about the perfection and just doing it.
Yeah, and it's so funny you say that because one of my goals on any client meeting that I ever take, any recording, is always to make the client laugh at least once. Because when they, even if it's a discovery call, especially if it's a discovery call, I want them to know what I'm like and what working with me is going to be like. And I'm all about vibes. You know, everything has to be fun, or else why are we doing this? Like, as I always say, nobody's going to die on the table. We're creating a podcast here. Like, you know, it's not life or death. Let's have some fun with this. And I like to create that energy. And I feel like you have to do that for whatever, whether it's a product based business or a service based business, you need to create a vibe. That's like, I think one of the most important things is the old way of saying that would be like, what is your mission statement? What are your company's values? The modern way of saying it is like, what's your vibe? And that's kind of what you need to do, right?
Yeah, 100%. And one of the things that I teach people is like, when you have a culture of clients re-signing up with you, upgrading to further their work with you, or like elongate their package or get a bonus something from you, you will actually have so much, you will make so much more revenue with the people you already have. And that is something that you need to initiate in your culture, and you need to suggest to people. So, you know, I have this client, they're elongating their package. Let me know if you want to do that. And then like keep running on with your sentence. Or you're on a live with all of your people and you're talking about like, just to let you know, if you're in the low grade membership, you want to upgrade today, this is what we have going on. I'm getting upgrade requests out the wazoo. Like, you need to talk to your people the way that you want the vibe to go. If your sales are slow, it's because you're not telling people what they need to do when they come into your space. And if your vibe is, you can get served with me like over and over and over again instead of just one and done, like, you can decide that that's the vibe of your business, and you can decide that that's the vibe of your services, and then you can deliver on it. So it's people not being intentional. And that's the thing, you have the power. You have the power, and you can decide these are my intentions. I'm no longer going to passively sit back and just try that clients come to me, or that my emails will sell for me, or anything like that. We need to make intentional decisions on how you want your business to go. Again, with the time you have. These are shifts that do not add anything else to your schedule. It just changes the way that you're running your business.
Okay, I want to get a hot take from you before we wrap up. So there's this conversation that I keep seeing come up on threads about pricing and what how much of your pricing you're willing to share in advance. So there's this one school of thought where, you know, people just don't have their pricing on their website, book a discovery call with me and we'll discuss it then. And then there's another school of thought that's absolutely be transparent, throw your pricing up on your website. You know, if you don't have your pricing, I'm not even going to consider you because what if you're out of my budget? I don't want to waste your time with a discovery call. I'm curious which camp you fall under. Is it better to put your pricing on your website or avoid doing it?
I'm in the full price transparency camp. I think that it increases sales every time. It allows you to speak to the people who can afford or could afford and will figure it out your prices, and stops your messaging from being diluted to everybody. I think that it allows you to get confident and stand on your prices, and know if you feel uncomfortable saying it out loud, that's a big red flag for me. We need to lower your price if you truly don't feel that it's integrity with what you can sell right now. For all of those reasons, I'm in the full price transparency. As a consumer, as a mom, I'm actually I did some support coaching in a business program for doulas, and I was telling them, if I'm a mom and I'm searching for a doula and you don't have your price on there, I'm skipping over. I'm going to the next tab. I'm looking for someone who I can find out no more of this secrecy. What does a postpartum doula cost? We need to know. And you think that I'm going to be showing my husband all the research results that I got, and he's going to say, okay, which one does each one cost? And you think he's going to be like, oh yeah, let's get on the sales call with the person who didn't tell us what they cost? No. No, we're going with where it makes the most sense. So as a consumer, I'm also, please just tell me the price.
Yeah, I've heard so daycare visits are a thing in the US. It's not really as much of a thing in Canada where like you don't really shop around from daycares because our daycares are subsidized. So like you go on a list, they give you your daycare and that's your daycare. But like I've seen people being like, "Oh, how much are your fees?" And they're like, "Well, come schedule a visit." And like, but what if your fees are so high that you're nowhere, like no amount of visiting your daycare is going to make you suddenly affordable to me if you're out of my budget? And I feel like this is something that happens in so many industries. It's not just digital marketing or product or service-based in whatever, people are just like gatekeeping their prices. And I don't know what marketing or business coach said that this was a good idea, but it just feels so like if you're not in my range, you're not in my range. Meeting with you isn't going to change that. And I feel like maybe people are counting on like their calls or the meeting to try and like close the deal, but it just feels like a waste of time to me. Like I don't have time to, dance around this.
Exactly. As a mom, you do not have time to get on the phone with people who you would have to convince of the value of the product or the service. They need to be already interested in paying you and handing you the money. And the sales call, if you use sales calls or the sales conversation in the DMs or over email, needs to be about them getting their specific questions answered for their certain circumstance, and if they can succeed in your program or with your services or not. That's what it needs to be about, or customizing the package a little bit for their specific needs. I'm with you. I don't know who said this. I don't know what, again, white man had all the time in the world and a million sales consultants underneath his belt so that he could be like, get on the phone with everybody and tell them the price on the phone and then convince them. No, honey, we are moms. We need to absolutely sell with the time that we have. That's my biggest thing. And so full price transparency. That's the camp I'm in.
Absolutely love it. If you like what you heard today and you're also in the full price transparency camp, make sure you follow or subscribe to Rebel Mom Boss. It helps other people access the podcast. Taylor Lane can be found over on Instagram at taylor.elizabethlane. You can join her co-working Zoom space through the link that you will find in the show notes. She is, if you're an entrepreneur or small business owner and you're looking to maximize your growth, you can check out her website, thetaylorlane.kartra.com. Thank you so much for being here today, Taylor. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, Robin. I love it.
If you like what you heard today, make sure you follow and subscribe to Rebel Mom Boss with Robin Flynn wherever you get your podcasts. Oh, and make sure to leave a review because that's how other moms will find the podcast too. Until next week.